Hi guys, it's your girl Ina here with Nadine behind the camera and the dog's barking. We have decided to take up a little bit of a challenge, not a challenge, just we were in the mood for corned beef, and I'm going to show you later what you get if you order corned beef here. We were in the mood for corned beef for St. Pat's, which is in a couple weeks, and so since you can't buy it pre-made, like you know how at home in the States your mom would go bring a corned beef home and cook it up. You can't buy it already made. So we're gonna try to make it ourselves. So we're gonna try to corn the beef or pickle the meat. And we've watched several videos and looked at several recipes. And what we can gather is a lot of it is just like your personal taste and personal flavor. So we've got our idea of what we wanna do, and we have really been researching a lot. And so we're gonna share with you the process. So the first process, I'm going to introduce you to all of our ingredients. We've got, what are they called? Juniper berries. We've got pre-made spice mix, pickling mix, but we didn't know pickling spice, how it was going to taste. So we just got a small one. We've got Belgian beer, some peppercorns. We've got some cinnamon. We've got some mustard seeds, we've got some bay leaves, we've got pickling salt, which we've already measured out. We've got brown sugar. This also you can't get here. We had to order that from America. Then we have a little bit of fresh orange, a little bit of fresh ginger, and a little bit of garlic. And then we've got the star of the show here, the Hunka Burnin' Love 1.5 kilo brisket. Now, actually, when we got at the butcher, even though we ordered it ahead of time, they tried to give us the end with really lots of fat in it, which I guess would be good if you're going to slow cook or smoke or barbecue, slow barbecue a brisket. But for this, you want the flat part, the part that's less fat and just more meat. That's what you use for a corned beef. And then we're going to try a little of an experiment. And we have these two beautiful filet steaks. Now, what we're going to try and see if this works is we're going to also put these in the same brine and leave them the same amount of time. And then when we're done, we're going to just freeze them. So that after we're finished with the corned beef, if another time in the springtime we're in the mood for corned beef, then we can see how these taste. But we just made it up, so maybe it's not going to work. I mean, yeah, who knows? We're going to try them, see what happens with that. Whoops. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our dry ingredients and we're going to bash them up a little bit in the mortar and pestle. So let me just take this whole thing off. We are going to take about two. So how are you? Good? Hanging in there? Great. Okay. This is the pre-made one. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of that. Okay. To that, we are going to add an extra tablespoon of juniper berries. Oh my God, it smells so good. We're going to add extra tablespoon of peppercorns. We're going to add a couple extra bay leaves. We're going to add a little bit extra mustard seed. And all this stuff, a lot of this stuff you can also, if you pickle cucumbers in the summertime, which my mom always did, and I know I'm biased, but my mom's pickles were the best. A lot of this stuff is similar, not cinnamon, but like the senf seeds and all that mustard seeds you can use, and the peppercorns, all this stuff. Then we're gonna take a cinnamon stick and break that up. Throw that in there. Good. Then we are going to bash this up a little bit with our thingamadoodle. Just gonna break that up. Whoopsie daisies. Get that all bashed. Oh, I hear those berries popping open. That's cool. Okay, then just to get the ultimate flavor out of this, what are you guys doing? We are going to toast that up a little bit. Okay, so that'll be the next step. And then, in the meantime, we're also going to put this in here for the brine. Oops. We're going to put our dry ingredients. So we've got a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger, peeled, about that much. 2 cloves of garlic. They were pretty big cloves of garlic, as you can see, sliced up. The juice of half of an orange. We're going to squeeze in there. Get that juice out. Don't want much pulp in there because it's going to be sitting for a couple weeks. Then we're going to put a bottle of beer, or as my grandmother from Brooklyn would say, a bottle of beer. And here, and then we have this pickling salt that we got from Haber. This whole thing of pickling salt cost us €1. It's like nothing. So for 1.5 kilo brisket, we have 60 grams of salt. So that much for 1.5 kilos. For those of you who don't use kilos, there's 2.2 pounds in a kilo. So you can figure out how much that is in pounds. And then we're going to actually add this to this one that we're going to cook a little bit over the stove. Warm that up. And then we are going to put 3 large teaspoons of brown sugar in this side. Okay, so now the next process is we're going to put some water in this, heat that up. Okay, then we're going to add it to the wet ingredients. Whoops. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now what we've done is we're taking these dry ingredients and we've got it over a medium-ish heat. We're cooking with gas, and this part doesn't take. You're not trying to cook it. You're just trying to toast it a little bit. So as soon as you can start smelling some of those big flavors, that's had enough like that. Okay, so get that kind of toasted up. We probably did it, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and they can really smell all those different flavors. But you don't want to cook it. So at this point, you want to add some water in there. And let all that beautiful salt melt. Whoops. Okay, and we're just going to let that come up. It doesn't really have to boil, just to a good simmer. We start seeing some bubbles come up, and then we'll know that that's ready to go. And then we'll let that cool down before we add it to the other stuff, because we want to have a cold. We don't want to cook the meat, we want to pickle the meat. So we don't want this to be cold. We might even add some ice cubes to that before we plop it back in. So that's next step. We're going to let this simmer a little bit, and then we'll be ready to move on. Okay, so now we've put the meat in with the beer, a whole bottle of beer, 3 heaping tablespoons of brown sugar. We've got some garlic, and we've got the fresh ginger. Then we took this was our brine, with the, what I forgot to tell you guys what was in this pickling spice mix. So it's organic yellow mustard, organic cinnamon, organic allspice, organic dill seed, organic celery seed, organic bay leaf, organic chili peppers, organic cloves, organic caraway, and organic ginger. So from here, we got a lot of things that we didn't add extra, but we also added some of the same stuff. So I mean, go big or go home. And you know what? When people say go big or go home, they are really underestimating how much I want to go home, because I would rather normally just be at home. Anyway, so now we're going to add this. Oh, so we heated that up, let the stuff toast. I probably should have put the salt in after I toasted the stuff, but whatever. Then we put some water in it. We let it simmer, come up to a simmer, not really a boil. We let it simmer for just a few minutes on kind of low heat, and then we just let it cool down. As you guys heard the doorbell, our friend came over, so I had some time to cool down, and then just threw a few handfuls of ice in there, so now it's room temperature. So now we're gonna pour this on top of here. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. And we'll kind of mix that around. Now, a lot of the recipes we read and stuff, a lot of people suggested using plastic bags, like big Ziploc bags, to do this. The reason that we are using the Tupperware is because we'll be traveling. I mean, we're just going to go to Zurich for a little bit, but we want to take our baby with us because every day you should move it around, flip it over a little bit, because you see how stuff is kind of laying on there. You want to make sure that you move it around a little bit. And what we'll probably do is put a plate on here to weigh it down so it stays underneath the liquid. But it smells very similar to, what's it called in English? Glühwein. Spiced wine? Mulled wine? Wine? I can't speak English. Well, I can speak English. Because a lot of this flavor... No, the mulled wine. Christmas time. Spiced wine. Okay. Whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called in English. It smells a lot like that, but it's looking kind of good. So we're going to let this... we're going to put a plate on this to weigh it down a little bit. We've got a little fillets in here. It's a little experiment. And then we'll see how this all comes out. I don't think we need to film us flipping it. I think you guys all believe that we're going to do it. But then at the end, we'll bring it out and show everybody the beautiful, hopefully pink color. And we'll cook it up for St. Patrick's Day. One more little thing. Make sure that you use pickling salt and not regular salt. There's a big difference. It's a different chemical in it that'll yeah. And don't confuse, ours was white, but I think in the States it's usually pink, the pickling salt. Don't confuse the salt for pink Himalayan salt. It's a different thing. Okay, so make sure you use the pickling salt. Okay, so we're gonna put the baby to bed and we'll keep you guys posted and we'll edit this at the end and throw in the final product. Okay. Okay, so now finally we're at the end of the 2 weeks. We showed you what happened with the steaks. They were actually pretty good, a little bit cinnamony. And I think that's the thing about making your own brine. You can kind of put in there what you like. And since it's the first time we did it, we might not put so much cinnamon as last time, but this is the final product of our corned beef. So we have the plates on it to kind of weigh it down a little bit. It's like I said before, it smells exactly like Italian salad dressing. What do you think, Rock? Yeah? So we had it weighed down with these plates and we turned it every couple of days in our little brine mixture. And this is what it looks like after 2 weeks. Actually, it looks kind of cool. Looks really good. It smells, actually, when you put your nose up close, it smells like, kind of like, what we talked about this before, like the mulled wine, like the spiced wine that you have around Christmas time. Very fragrant. It smells fantastic. So we're gonna now slow cook this. We're gonna boil it with potatoes and carrots, and we're gonna have it with sauerkraut. And we're gonna have that later. We're gonna really slow cook it for a couple of hours. So this is what we're gonna have for dinner and the whole weekend because we're only 2 people. Shh. Or we're gonna eat you guys, stop barking. This will be our weekend meals. So we'll be sure to make one last video before we eat to show you guys, or after we serve ourselves to see how it tastes. Yep. So we have the final product here. As you can see, I think we were pretty successful. I'm actually surprised it looks so good. It's just tender and falling apart, as you can imagine. Flavor is so good. Honestly, so much better than those little steaks we made. I mean, they were okay, but this is fantastic. Trim the fat off of it. Just so tender. Really great flavor, and I'm so excited to eat dinner. So after all this work of making this, we are going to finally sit down and have I just want to show something real quick. This is how you get corned beef here in a can. It's like Spam. It does have a similar flavor to corned beef, but it's just not the same when you get it like this. So our experiment, see if we could do it, was, I would say, a big success. It looks delicious. And we're gonna now sit down and enjoy the fruits of our labor. Our delicious corned beef. Oops, happy St. Patrick's Day.